Okay, now we're going to go 4.3, part 2. Okay. Alright, the first directions. Draw my boxes of doom here. Okay. Your job is to write each function in vertex form. Okay. It's in standard form with the ABC. You need to get it to the AHK. It's actually a relatively easy process, okay? More so than it's seen. That's the first one we're going to do. This is the second one. And this is the third one. Okay, now I need to come up with a y equals a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. Again, we'll need to replace the a, the h, and the k. Now, actually, the a is really easy to find. This is ABC form. This is AHK form. The a is the same here as it is here, so that's nice. To find your HK, you just got to find what the vertex is in this. Okay, so opposite of B divided by 2 times A. So it's 4, 2 times 1 is 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then you plug 2 in. 1 times 2 to the second minus 4 times 2 plus 6. So I got 2. Well, guess what? That means this is your H then, and this is your K. So 2, 2. So it's y equals 1 times x minus 2 to the second plus 2. That clicked, okay? Just like that. A times x minus h to the second plus k. So A, B, C. So I know my A's got to be the same here. That's why A is there twice, because it'll be the same A here that it is here. Then opposite of B divided by 2 times A, so that would be negative 8, and then 2 times negative 2 would be negative 4. Divide, you get 2. So negative 2, 2 to the second, plus 8, negative 2, plus 3. Negative 21, okay? So that then becomes your HK. So 2 will replace H, and then negative 2 will replace K, and we now have our vertex form. Minus 2. This equation is the same value of that equation. It's just different formations. Okay. Okay, again, we need to find the A, the H, the K. The A is the same thing it is over here, so it has a 2. Okay. Then XY, opposite of B, divided by 2 times A, so it's going to be 5. 2 times 2 is 4. Not a fan of that, so hit second. PRB equals 1 1/4. You could also just put 5. Well, I would go 1 1/4, so I substitute 1 1/4 in for x. Remember, you raise the first replacement to the second, but the second replacement to nothing. Okay. Okay, I got 8 7/8. Now, that's your vertex in the standard form. It's also your HK in the vertex form. So H, 1 1/4. K, 8 7/8. And you can now write your equation. So you have 2x minus 1 1/4 to the second power plus 8 7/8. Okay, that's part 1 of your assignment. Now part 2, we're actually going to start applying some of this stuff to real life. Okay, you're going to do first story problems. Okay, a town has 200 feet of fence to put around a playground in a rectangular shape. What's the greatest area it can fence? This applies to what we're doing, okay? It talks about area. If it's a rectangle, which all these are, area is taking the length times the width. Now, A is going to become our Y, okay? So Y is going to be our area. Now, what about the X? Well, here's what we're going to do. You're going to put L times W. Now, this part's the complicated part, okay? You get past that, you should be okay. But this is the complicated part here, how I'm going to arrange my length and width, okay? 200 feet of fence to put around the rectangular shape. So that means draw a rectangle. You got L, L, W, W. Now we're putting the fence around, okay? So that's 2L plus 2W, and that has to equal our feet, which is 200, okay? Okay, so 2L plus 2W equals 200. But I have just L and W. So what I'm going to do is divide all these by 2. We're going to take them in half, then that will just be L plus W equals 100. So the dimensions would be 100 together, okay? Just one dimension of each would be 100. See, having 2 of each dimension gives me 200. Having 1 of each dimension gives me 100. So L or W, it doesn't matter which. I'll just be consistent. I'll pick X for L. Now, for W, I need to write the expression 100 minus X. And here's why. Because we have 100, L and the W make 100 feet. Well, let's say L is 20. Well, then that would have to be 80, okay? Let's say L is 4. Well, then that would have to be 96. Every time I'm just taking whatever I put there and subtracting it from 100, okay? So, X, that's the hard part, okay? First off, how do we get the 100? Well, we write our perimeter equation because we're putting the fence around it. That's perimeter. But then to get it just in terms of L and W without the 2's, we divide it by 2. So I write them both in terms of X, okay? I'll put X there, and then the other one's got to be what's ever left over from the 100. Left over is taking 100 minus X. Now, you need to apply the distributive property, okay? I would apply 1's in front of the X. I would take 1X times 100, and then I would take 1X times negative 1X. So that's going to be 100X, but over here you're going to have negative 1, and since there's 2 X factors, it's X to the second. So you put your negative 1X to the second first, and then plus 100X. Now you can find your greatest area. It's the vertex, okay? Because, again, that would be a upside down because your A is negative, okay? And the maximum's up there. You don't need to write that, okay? You just put that right there, okay? And actually, I'm going to change the way I set these up on the next 2 problems. Okay, so opposite of B divided by 2 times A, okay? So the opposite of B would be negative 100. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Divide, you get 50. So that means your X is 50, okay? The X you put in for the length, that's 50, and then 100 minus 50 would be 50, so it'd be 50 by 50. Now, you can either take 50 times 50, or you can just plug in the 50 into here like you should. You'll get the same answer either way. $2,500. Remember, Y is the area, okay? So the greatest area you can achieve is 2,500 square feet. Okay, now I'm going to do 2 more just like it. You're going to need some repetition. Doing one isn't going to probably get the job done. We have 300 feet of fence to put around a rec playground in a rectangular shape. What's the maximum area it can fence? So maximum, you're going to make a big, and I know I didn't do this on the last problem, but I want you to start, okay? It just came to me. When you're finding the maximum, you mark it, you put an XY coordinate, and you put opposite of B divided by 2 times A. That will help if you do that, okay? If you set that up. This one's just like this one. I should have been doing that here. I didn't, okay? You want to set that up. Okay, what equation? Well, we're dealing with area. We're talking area. Area is length times width. So area is going to be y, and then we're going to make 2 parentheses. One for the length, one for the width. But you don't just start throwing numbers in here. Now the 300 feet of fence, okay, the 300 feet of fence goes around the outsides of the garden. You're going to want to draw a shape, L, L, W, W. So I'll be putting it around 2 L's and 2 W's, and that will equal 300. Now, I just have L and W, so I want to get it all in terms of just L and W. So just the L, 1 L and 1 W would make 150. Okay, so 150 is the key amount then, not 300. So let's have our length be x, and whatever the width is, it'd just be 150 minus x. Okay, so 150 minus x, not x minus 150. Okay, because like if one of the L's and one of the W's adds up to 150, if like the length's 50, then the width's 100. If the length's 75, the width's 75. If the length's 2, the width's 148. Okay, so it's just, I pick something for that and then just subtract whatever that value is from 150. That's the length and the width. So you're essentially using the perimeter to write an expression for how you could find your area. Okay, that's how that would transition. Okay, now multiply it out and you'll be good up here. So I like to apply ones when doing this. 1x times 150, and then 1x times negative 1x. So it's going to be 150x and then negative 1x squared. You want to put your negative 1x squared first because that's your A. Then your 150x, that's your B. So the opposite of B is going to be negative 150 and then 2 times negative 1. So it's negative 150, negative 2, and you get 75. So they would both be 75. So I plug 75 in for x. And I get my maximum area of 5,625. So the answer is 5,625 square feet. Okay, we have 350 feet of fence to put around a deer plot in a rectangular shape. What's the maximum area? If you're solving a maximum story problem, you want to draw that. Okay. So opposite of B divided by 2 times A. And then I just substitute x into the equation to find the y. Okay, now you got to generate. You're talking area. Area is length times width. So area is going to be our y. So whatever I get for y up there is my answer. Okay, maximum area. Now we need parentheses. Now I'm actually going to use the perimeter equation to generate the length times width. So you make your rectangle, LL, W, W. Okay. So I'm putting that 350 feet of fence around 2 sides with L and 2 sides with W, and that should equal 350. But I just want what a single W and a single L make. Well, let's divide the equation by 2. So L plus W then, you can put ones in front. What's the point? Would be 175. Okay, because it'd be 1L, 1W, L plus W. So I'll pick a random variable for L. Let's pick X. So if L's X, W would equal 175 minus X. So again, you'll generate that, but then you just want it with L and W. So if L is like some number 75, W would be 100, okay? I mean, if L's 3, then W would be 172. Okay, I just subtract whatever I pick. I'm not picking a number for L, though. I'm picking a variable. So 175 minus that variable is how I can write my W. Okay, so I distribute now. 1x will be distributed twice. First times 175, then times negative 1x. So that's 175x and then negative 1x squared. So we have our A and B finally, and then I jump up here. So negative 175 is B, 2 times negative 1, negative 2. So I divide negative 175 by negative 2, and I get 87.5. Okay. Okay, then substitute that in for your x. Okay. Okay, 7,656.25. Okay, so the maximum area is 7656.25 square feet. Okay. So any maximum problem, you need to write that. Then area is length times width. Area is going to be y. Your L times W, you need to use what you're going to put there. You need to draw out your perimeter equation, because you're putting the feet of fence around. Okay, so, but we just want L and W, so it would be divide everything by 2, then you just have L and W. So you know that whatever you pick for L, which is X, the W is just 175 minus whatever I'm putting in for L.